Welcome to the Motivational Library.
Have you ever walked into a room and felt invisible, while someone else seemed to light up the space just by being there? Imagine if that could be you, the person everyone naturally gravitates toward, the one whose presence inspires trust, warmth, and instant connection. In a world overflowing with noise, flashy appearances, and empty words, true magnetism isn't about how you look or how clever you sound. It's about mastering the subtle, powerful habits that make people feel seen, understood, and drawn to you effortlessly. In this audiobook, Become Magnetic, How to Attract People, Influence, and Connect Effortlessly, you'll uncover the hidden psychology of influence, the science of likability, and the daily actions that transform your presence, your mindset, and your relationships without pretending to be anyone you're not. Get ready to step into your power, radiate confidence, and become the person who leaves a lasting impression, the one people can't forget. Your transformation starts now. Chapter 1. The Foundation of Attraction. Everything begins with you, not your status, not your network, not your appearance. You. Welcome to the beginning of a real transformation. Not the kind built on tricks, tactics, or manipulation. Not the kind where you perform a version of yourself hoping others will approve. This is about uncovering the version of you that has always been powerful but buried. Buried under doubt, under fear, under years of shrinking yourself to fit rooms that were too small for your spirit. Marc Reklau introduces a truth that is both simple and confronting. If you want to attract extraordinary people into your life, you must become extraordinary in your own character first. That does not mean becoming perfect. It means becoming aligned. Aligned with authenticity. Aligned with confidence, aligned with kindness, aligned with emotional intelligence. These are not loud qualities. They don't beg for attention, but they pull people in naturally, because real attraction is never forced. It is felt. Stop performing. Start being. One of the greatest traps people fall into is trying too hard to impress. We polish our image. We exaggerate our achievements. We say what we think others want to hear. But here's the truth most never realize. People are not drawn to perfection. They are drawn to presence. They are drawn to warmth. They are drawn to someone who feels real. Think about the people you feel safest around. The ones you don't have to filter yourself with. The ones who make conversation feel effortless. It's rarely because they are the richest, or the most attractive, or the most famous. It's because they make you feel seen, heard, valued. That is magnetism, and that kind of energy cannot be faked. It comes from someone who is comfortable in their own skin. So begin there. Embrace your story, the victories and the scars. Own your imperfections, they make you human. Honor your journey. Every setback shaped your depth. When you remove the mask, something powerful happens. You give others permission to remove theirs. And in that space of honesty, connection becomes effortless. The inner mirror. There is a deeper layer most people avoid. The relationship you have with yourself is the blueprint for every relationship you will ever have. How you speak to yourself matters. How you treat yourself matters. What you tolerate from yourself matters. If you constantly criticize yourself, if you minimize your worth, if you silence your own voice, the world will mirror that energy back to you. Not intentionally, not maliciously, but consistently. Marc challenges us to start where most people don't. Build self-respect before seeking admiration. Speak to yourself with the same compassion you offer others. Set boundaries without guilt. Invest in your growth as if it is non-negotiable. Own your strengths without apology. There is a difference between arrogance and assurance. Arrogance seeks validation. Assurance does not need it. The most magnetic individuals are not the loudest in the room. They are the most grounded. They move with quiet certainty. They don't chase attention. They don't beg for approval. They know who they are. And when you truly know who you are, when your identity is not borrowed, when your confidence is not conditional, something shifts. You stop chasing people. You stop trying to prove yourself. You stop performing. And suddenly, the right people begin to gravitate toward you. Because magnetism is not about pulling others in. It's about becoming so aligned within yourself that connection becomes inevitable. This is the foundation. Everything else builds from here. Chapter 2. Emotional attractiveness. Looks fade. Status shifts. Money fluctuates. But emotional attractiveness? That lingers. That's what people remember long after the conversation ends. Emotional attractiveness is not about being dramatic or overly expressive. It's about how people feel in your presence. Calm, safe, energized, understood. And that feeling is unforgettable. Marc Reklau teaches something powerful here. Emotionally attractive people are not perfect, they are regulated. They listen deeply. They don't explode under pressure. They support without trying to control. They stay grounded when others panic. They choose optimism without being naive. And here's the empowering truth. None of this is inborn. It is trained. For example, someone criticizes you. The average reaction: defensiveness, ego, anger. But emotional intelligence inserts a pause, a breath, a moment of curiosity instead of combat. Is there something I can learn here? That one shift changes the entire dynamic. And people notice that maturity. They remember it. The simplest magnet, a smile. It sounds almost too simple. But one of the most powerful tools of attraction is something you already possess. A genuine smile. Not the forced one. Not the networking one. Not the please like me one. A real smile. Science shows that smiling activates mirror neurons. Meaning when you smile sincerely, the other person's brain naturally mirrors your emotional state. In simple terms, your calm becomes their calm. Your warmth becomes their warmth. A real smile reduces tension within seconds. It lowers social barriers. It makes you instantly more approachable. But it only works when it's authentic. You don't smile to impress. You smile to express. And when you walk into a room carrying that quiet warmth, the energy shifts. You become the emotional thermostat. Change your energy. Change your impact. Have you ever walked into a room and felt someone's mood before they spoke? That's because energy communicates faster than words. Before you say a single sentence, people sense. Are you resentful? Are you stressed? Are you judging the room? Are you insecure? These invisible signals push people away. On the other hand, when you carry curiosity, lightness, grounded enthusiasm, you feel like oxygen in a suffocating world. Your energy is your message. And here's the uncomfortable truth. If you constantly complain, criticize, or radiate tension, you cannot expect magnetic responses. People are drawn to those who make life feel lighter. Not fake positivity, but emotional stability. Start with small wins. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. And that's good news. Because becoming emotionally attractive is not a dramatic overhaul. It's a series of small, consistent shifts. Start today with one action. Say one positive affirmation about yourself in the morning. Practice active listening with one person. Smile at one stranger. Offer one sincere compliment. Catch one negative reaction before it leaves your mouth. Each action is a vote for the person you are becoming. An identity is built through repeated votes. Becoming magnetic is not about memorizing clever lines. It's about becoming more of yourself without fear, without apology. The more aligned you are with your worth, the less you need to chase connection. Comes to you. Chapter 3. The Power of Communication. Listen first. Speak later. If your inner world is your foundation, then communication is your bridge. And bridges determine who crosses into your life. Marc Reklau states it clearly. Most people listen to reply. Magnetic people listen to understand. That single difference changes everything. The magic of full presence. You felt it before. You're speaking. But the other person isn't really there. Their eyes drift. Their mind races. They're waiting for their turn to talk. Feels hollow. Now imagine the opposite. Someone looking at you with genuine curiosity. No interruption. No rushing. No judgment. Just attention. That presence feels rare. And rarity creates value. So here's the discipline. Put the phone away. Hold eye contact. Be here. People might forget your exact words, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Be the person who makes others feel heard. The 80-20 listening rule. Reklau introduces a simple but transformative principle. Listen 80% of the time. Speak 20%. Most people reverse that ratio. When you truly listen, something shifts. The other person relaxes. They open up. Trust builds fast. And when you do speak, make it meaningful. Ask thoughtful questions. Reflect back what they said. Let them know you're not waiting to talk. You're there to understand. Here are powerful questions that deepen connection instantly. How did that make you feel? What was the most surprising part of that experience? What do you think you learned from it? What matters most to you about this? Questions like these move conversations beyond surface-level chatter. They enter the emotional layer. And emotional connection is what people remember. This is where attraction evolves. From appearance to presence to emotional mastery to powerful communication. And we're only getting started. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to speak with clarity, confidence, and influence, without dominance, without manipulation, but with undeniable impact. The transformation is unfolding, and you can feel it. Chapter 4: How you speak. Speak with intention, not just information. Words are tools. They can build bridges, or they can quietly burn them. Marc Reklau reminds us of something most people overlook. It's not just what you say, it's how you deliver it. Magnetic individuals don't speak to fill space. They speak to create connection. Speak like it matters. If you want your words to land, begin with intention. Use people's names. A name is more than a label. It's identity. When you say someone's name in conversation, their attention sharpens instantly. It signals respect, recognition, presence. Slow down. Rushed speech communicates nervousness. Calm speech communicates confidence. When you slow your pace by even 10 to 15%, your words carry more weight. Use uplifting language. Complaints drain energy. Gossip erodes trust. Mocking others lowers your value in the room, even if people laugh. Magnetic people don't bond through negativity. They elevate the conversation. And here's the real power move. Be honest, but wrap your truth in empathy. Truth without empathy feels harsh. Empathy without truth feels fake. But when you combine both, that's influence. Great communicators don't just exchange information. They create emotional resonance. Your body is speaking first. Before you say a single word, your body has already introduced you. Studies suggest that over 70% of communication is nonverbal: tone, posture, facial expression, gestures. So what is your body saying? Are your arms crossed? Is your posture closed? Are your eyes scanning the room for someone more important? Or are you open? Uncross your arms. Face people directly. Keep your hands visible. Lean in slightly when they speak. These microsignals communicate safety and engagement. Add a gentle, natural smile. Not exaggerated. Just warm. Nod occasionally. It says, I'm here. I'm listening. And here's something powerful most people ignore. Your posture doesn't just affect how others see you. It affects how you feel. Stand tall. Relax your shoulders. Lift your chin slightly. Within seconds, your brain begins associating that posture with confidence. And people respond to that shift immediately. Your body can either amplify your presence or sabotage it. Choose consciously. The art of the pause. Silence is not awkward. It is powerful. Most people rush to fill quiet moments because they fear judgment. But when you pause before responding, you demonstrate control. You show that you think before you speak. That pause, even 2 or 3 seconds, signals maturity. It gives the other person room to process. It lowers emotional intensity. It builds trust. Marc Reklau encourages practicing this daily. When someone asks you a question, breathe first. When tension rises, pause. When emotions spike, wait. In that silence, your power grows. Because reactive people are common. Composed people are rare. And rarity attracts. Handling awkward moments with grace. Conversations don't always flow perfectly. There will be uncomfortable pauses. misunderstandings, strange comments, off-key jokes. Magnetic individuals don't panic in those moments. They stabilize the room, breathe, smile gently. If someone says something awkward, redirect with curiosity. That's interesting. What made you think that? Or, tell me more about that. Curiosity diffuses tension. You don't need to win every exchange. You need to manage the energy. And when something goes wrong, acknowledge it lightly. I might have misunderstood. Let me clarify. That simple ownership shows confidence, not weakness. Grace under pressure is unforgettable. Chapter 5: The Confidence Code. How to attract without chasing. Confidence. You can't hold it in your hands. You can't measure it. But you feel it instantly. The moment someone walks into a room, not because they're loud, not because they dominate the conversation, not because they demand attention, but because they're steady. True confidence is quiet strength. It's the calm energy that says, I know who I am. I don't need to prove it. Marc Reklau teaches something that flips the script most people live by. You don't become magnetic by chasing approval. You become magnetic by trusting yourself. And in today's world, where attention is currency and validation is addictive, that is rare. Stop chasing. Start owning. We've been conditioned to seek applause, likes, comments, recognition, external confirmation that we matter. But chasing approval creates neediness, and neediness repels. Confidence begins the moment you stop asking, do they like me? And start asking, do I like who I am becoming? That shift is everything. Take a moment and reflect. What do I genuinely respect about myself? What values do I refuse to compromise? What strengths do I bring into any room? Most people never pause long enough to answer those questions. They obsess over their flaws. Magnetic individuals know their imperfections, but they anchor themselves in their strengths. Not loudly, quietly. They're not trying to be perfect. They're committed to being real. And authenticity, when paired with self-respect, is deeply attractive. Confront the inner critic. Now we address the voice, the one that whispers, you're not ready. You're not good enough. You're going to embarrass yourself. You're too much. You're not enough. Everyone has that voice. The difference is how you respond to it. People magnets don't pretend it doesn't exist. They recognize it for what it is, fear disguised as protection. That voice is trying to keep you safe, but safety and growth rarely live in the same space. So the next time it appears, don't fight it. Pause and calmly say, I hear you, but I choose courage. Because confidence is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act despite it. You don't wait until you feel ready. You move and readiness follows. Confidence is built through action. Here is the truth most people avoid. You cannot think your way into confidence. You must behave your way into it. Reklau emphasizes this clearly. Confidence grows from evidence. Every time you do something slightly uncomfortable, your brain records proof. I survived. I handled it. I'm capable. That evidence compounds. Speak up once in a meeting. Start one difficult conversation. Approach one new person. Take one bold step you've been postponing. Confidence is a muscle, and like any muscle, it strengthens under resistance. Waiting to feel confident before acting is a trap. Action creates confidence, not the other way around. The energy of unshakable presence. Here's what real confidence looks like. You don't over-explain yourself. You don't shrink your opinions. You don't chase people who pull away. You don't beg for space in a room. You stand. You speak. You listen. You move with intention. And if someone doesn't align with you, you don't crumble. You adjust. Because your worth is not negotiable. And that stability, that grounded certainty makes others feel safe. In a chaotic world, calm self-trust is magnetic. Confidence is not arrogance. Arrogance tries to convince others. Confidence doesn't need to. Arrogance is loud. Confidence is clear. Arrogance seeks dominance. Confidence radiates assurance. When you embody that energy, something powerful happens. You stop chasing connection. You become the standard. And the right people rise to meet you. In the next chapter, we'll go even deeper into how discipline and consistency turn confidence into identity. Because confidence is powerful, but character, that's legacy. Chapter 6. Confidence comes from action. Move first. Feel ready later. Confidence is not built in your head. It's built in motion. You don't gain it by thinking about being bold. You gain it by doing the thing that makes your heart race. Little by little. Step by step. Want confidence in public speaking? Speak, even if your voice trembles. Want confidence socially? Start small. Make eye contact. Say hello. Ask one thoughtful question. Every time you act despite fear, your brain records evidence. I handled it. I survived it. I can do this. That evidence compounds. 5 small acts of courage become 10. 10 become identity. And identity becomes confidence. Keep promises to yourself. Here's a deeper layer most people ignore. Confidence grows when you trust yourself. And self-trust is built through integrity. When you say, I'll wake up early, and you do. When you say, I'll finish this project, and you follow through, you send yourself a powerful message. My word matters. Break promises to yourself repeatedly, and your inner foundation weakens. Keep them consistently, and your confidence becomes unshakable. You don't need applause. You need alignment. Self-trust is the real confidence code. Carry yourself like you belong. You don't need designer labels. You don't need perfect features. But your posture, your breath, your movement, they communicate instantly. Stand tall. Relax your shoulders. Breathe deeply from your diaphragm. Walk with intention. These are subtle signals, but they rewire how you feel internally. Within minutes, your nervous system shifts. And when you radiate calm assurance, people respond. Because most individuals are trapped in their own self-doubt. Your grounded presence feels like stability. And stability is magnetic. Confidence with humility. Here's the secret most people miss. True confidence does not compete. It does not dominate. It does not need to win every exchange. It walks into a room and thinks, I'm grateful to be here. I have nothing to prove. That energy is rare. It removes pressure. It invites connection. Confidence isn't about being fearless. It's about feeling the fear and moving forward anyway. It's about removing the mask, letting people see the real you, imperfections included. Because the most attractive people are not the most flawless. They are the most authentic. So remember, you don't need to chase attention. You don't need to perform. You don't need to exaggerate. Show up grounded. Show up real. That's where the power lives. Chapter 7. Give more than you take. The secret to genuine connection. Now we separate ordinary from unforgettable. What transforms a conversation into loyalty? Generosity of spirit. Most people think generosity means money, gifts, favors. But the most magnetic gifts are invisible. Your time, your attention, your encouragement, your presence. Marc Reklau makes this clear. People are drawn to those who make them feel better, not smaller. Those who uplift, not compete. Those who give without keeping score. Here's a truth that changes everything. People don't remember your exact words. They remember how you made them feel. So ask yourself honestly, what emotion do people carry after interacting with me? Relief? Warmth? Inspiration? Or tension? Pressure? Exhaustion? Magnetic individuals leave people lighter than they found them. The power of intentional presence. When you're with someone, be with them. Not half-scrolling. Not mentally drafting your next sentence. Look them in the eyes. Smile gently. Let them feel that, in that moment, they matter. That kind of attention is rare. And rarity is unforgettable. Become a source of encouragement. You never truly know what someone is carrying. A single sincere sentence from you could shift their entire day. But be specific. Instead of, good job, say, I really admire how calmly you handled that earlier. Specific praise feels real. It shows you noticed. And people crave to be seen. Celebrate their progress. Acknowledge their effort. Amplify their wins. Magnetic people are multipliers. Be a bridge, not a gatekeeper. If you learn something useful, share it. If you read something powerful, recommend it. If you know someone who could help them, connect them. People magnets don't hoard opportunity. They circulate it. They lift others as they rise. And that generosity returns, often in ways they never expected. Emotional generosity. This is the deepest level. Emotional generosity means holding space without judgment, listening without interrupting, supporting without trying to fix. It means allowing someone to feel fully seen without making their vulnerability about you. When someone shares pain, don't compete with it. Don't minimize it. Don't immediately offer advice. Sometimes the most generous response is, "I'm here. I hear you." That presence builds loyalty deeper than any charm ever could. Chapter 8. Emotional giving. Give from strength, not from emptiness. Emotional giving is the highest form of generosity. It's not money. It's not favors. It's not performance. It's presence. It's the willingness to sit with someone in their moment, not to judge, not to fix, not to compete, but to hold space. And holding space is rare. It means listening without interrupting, allowing someone to finish their thoughts, resisting the urge to turn their pain into your story. That kind of attention feels like safety, and safety is the foundation of lasting connection. Release bitterness. Choose compassion. People can feel resentment, even when you don't speak it. Bitterness leaks through tone, through posture, through micro-expressions, and it repels. But when you consciously choose compassion, even when others fall short, something shifts. This does not mean tolerating disrespect. It means refusing to carry emotional poison. Forgive where you can. Release grudges that no longer serve you. See people as imperfect humans just like you. Compassion creates emotional oxygen, and people breathe easier around you. Energy hygiene. Protect your light. Now here's the balance. Generosity is powerful, but not when it drains you. You do not need to say yes to every request. You do not need to absorb everyone's problems. You do not need to fix what isn't yours to fix. Magnetic individuals give from a full cup, not from exhaustion. That means protecting your energy. Rest when you need to. Step back when you feel overwhelmed. Say no without guilt. Boundaries do not reduce your magnetism. They strengthen it. Because giving from depletion breeds resentment. Giving from wholeness creates impact. The law of value. There's a principle that operates quietly but consistently. When you focus on adding value, value finds you. When you elevate conversations, support growth, encourage others, opportunities begin to circulate around you. Not because you force them, but because your presence feels expansive. And people gravitate toward expansion. But let's be clear. Giving does not mean being a pushover. Confident givers have firm boundaries. They give from love, not from need. They support, but they don't beg to be needed. And that distinction makes all the difference. Ask yourself daily. Shift your focus from, "What can I get?" to, "How can I contribute?" Who needs encouragement today? Who could benefit from a thoughtful message? Who can I connect, support, or uplift? It doesn't require grand gestures. A sincere compliment, a 3-minute check-in, a message that says, "I thought of you." Small acts, consistent intention. That's how you leave people better than you found them. And in a world obsessed with taking, the giver stands out. Not loudly, but undeniably. In the next chapter, we step into a deeper arena. How to stay grounded when faced with difficult people. How to maintain composure when triggered. Because magnetism isn't tested in easy conversations. It's revealed under pressure. And you're stronger than you think. Chapter 9. Handling difficult people. Stay centered when others lose control. Now we test your growth. Anyone can be calm when everything is smooth. But what about when someone is rude, dismissive, critical, emotionally reactive? Here is the truth. Difficult people are inevitable. Your reaction is optional. Magnetic individuals do not absorb chaos. They observe it. When someone attacks, most people react instantly. Defense, counterattack, escalation. But power lives in restraint. Pause. Breathe. Lower your tone instead of raising it. Calm energy disrupts aggressive energy. It forces the room to recalibrate. Don't take it personally. Most difficult behavior isn't about you. It's about their stress, their insecurity, their unresolved wounds. When you stop personalizing every negative interaction, you reclaim emotional control. Ask yourself, what might this person be going through? That shift creates compassion instead of retaliation. And compassion disarms tension. Respond, don't react. There's a difference. Reaction is immediate and emotional. Response is intentional and grounded. If someone criticizes you unfairly, you can say, I'd like to understand what you mean. Can you explain? That tone changes everything. You're not surrendering. You're stabilizing. And stability is leadership. Choose your battles. Not every comment deserves your energy. Not every disagreement requires correction. Sometimes the most powerful move is disengagement. Silence. Distance. Calm withdrawal. Your peace is more valuable than proving a point. And people respect those who protect it. Strength with grace. Being magnetic does not mean being passive. If boundaries are crossed, address them clearly, but without hostility. I'm not comfortable with that. Let's keep this respectful. I'd prefer we speak calmly. Firm, calm, unapologetic. That combination commands respect. When you remain grounded in the presence of chaos, something remarkable happens. You become the anchor, the emotional stabilizer, the safe point in the storm. And people remember that. They trust that. They gravitate toward that. You're not just becoming attractive. You're becoming composed. You're not just becoming confident. You're becoming centered. And in the final chapter, we'll bring everything together into a way of living that makes magnetism effortless. You're evolving, and it shows. Chapter 10. Handling difficult people. Staying calm in the storm. Not everyone you meet will be kind. Some will test your patience. Some will challenge your values. Some will drain your energy without realizing it. But becoming magnetic is not about pleasing everyone. It's about protecting your peace while staying true to yourself. Marc Reklau teaches a principle that changes everything. How others behave is about them. How you respond is about you. You cannot control their actions, but you always control your reaction. And that control is power. Magnetic people guard that power carefully. Reaction versus response. When someone criticizes you unfairly, when someone speaks sharply, when tension rises, most people react. A reaction is automatic, emotional, immediate, but a response is conscious, grounded, intentional. So pause, breathe, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? What's really happening beneath this behavior? Often, people project their stress, insecurity, or inner chaos onto others. Rudeness is rarely about you. It's about what they're carrying. This doesn't mean you accept disrespect. It means you don't absorb it. You stay centered. And there is something deeply powerful about a person who remains calm when others lose control. It signals self-mastery. It radiates grounded strength. Boundaries, not walls. Magnetic people don't build emotional walls. They set clear boundaries. If someone constantly gossips, drains your energy, or disrespects you, you have every right to create distance. Not aggressively, not dramatically, simply and calmly. You don't need to argue. You don't need to defend. Redirect your attention toward relationships that uplift you. That's strength. The power of empathy. Here's a tool most overlook. Empathy. Instead of labeling someone as difficult, ask, what pain might this person be carrying? What unmet need is behind this behavior? Empathy is not weakness. It is emotional intelligence. For example, instead of saying, you're always negative, try, I've noticed you seem stressed lately. Is everything okay? That shift transforms conflict into connection. It diffuses tension. It lowers defenses. It opens space for understanding. And when you respond with clarity instead of ego, people feel it. Protecting your peace. Sometimes, however, the healthiest choice is distance. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It is responsible. If someone consistently brings chaos, manipulation, or toxicity into your life, it is okay to step back. Even if they don't understand, even if they don't agree, you do not need permission to prioritize your well-being. Not everyone will like you, and that's okay. Trying to win everyone over is exhausting. Instead, focus on showing up as your best self. The right people will resonate. The rest are not your responsibility. The freedom of forgiveness. Holding on to resentment weighs you down. It hardens your tone, clouds your presence, dulls your light. Forgiveness is not approval. It is release. You forgive to free yourself, not to excuse the behavior. Every time you let go of bitterness, you reclaim your energy. You become lighter, stronger, more magnetic. Because in the end, true strength is not about dominance. It's about composure. It's about staying kind even when the world isn't. Chapter 11. Mastering Body Language. Speak without words. You might say all the right things. You might be polite, thoughtful, intelligent. But if your body tells a different story, people will believe your body first. Marc Reklau reminds us of a powerful truth. More than 90% of communication is nonverbal. That means your posture, eye contact, tone, facial expression, and energy speak before your words do. To become magnetic, you must become fluent in this silent language. Posture, the silent introduction. The moment you walk into a room, your posture introduces you. Stand tall. Relax your shoulders. Lift your head slightly, not arrogantly, confidently. You don't need to be loud to command presence. You just need to look like you belong. Because when you carry yourself with self-respect, others respond with respect. Eye contact, the bridge of trust. Avoiding eye contact signals insecurity or discomfort. Staring too intensely feels aggressive. But natural, steady eye contact, especially when listening, sends a powerful message. I see you. I'm here. You matter. Just 3 to 5 seconds of genuine eye contact during conversation can significantly increase trust and connection. The simple, but powerful, facial expression, your emotional signature. Your face constantly broadcasts signals. Are you tense, distracted, judging, or open? A warm, relaxed expression instantly lowers social barriers. A subtle smile, not forced, just natural, invites ease. Magnetic people are aware of their expressions. They soften their face when listening. They nod gently to show engagement. They let their features reflect attentiveness and calm. And people feel safe around them. Body language is not performance. It's alignment. When your inner confidence matches your outer presence, your energy becomes coherent. And coherent energy is magnetic. Chapter 12. Mastering Nonverbal Communication. Speak before you speak. You can say all the right words. You can be polite, thoughtful, kind. But if your body tells a different story, people will believe your body first. Studies show that over 90% of communication is nonverbal. That means your posture, your eye contact, your tone, your facial expressions, even your energy, are shaping every interaction before a single sentence lands. Magnetic people understand this. They don't just communicate with words. They communicate with presence. Let's begin with posture. The way you stand tells people what you believe about yourself. Stand tall, shoulders relaxed but back. Chin level, not rigid, not arrogant, just grounded. When you walk into a room like you belong there, people feel it. Confidence is rarely loud. It's steady. Now eye contact. Avoiding someone's gaze can signal insecurity. Staring too intensely can feel aggressive. But natural, steady eye contact? That creates trust within seconds. When you look at someone as they speak, you're saying, you matter. Facial expression matters more than most realize. A relaxed face and a soft smile immediately make you more approachable. People are drawn to those who make them feel safe. So soften your expression when listening. Nod gently. Let your face respond to what you're hearing. Let it show you're engaged. Then there are gestures. Open hands signal honesty. Uncrossed arms signal openness. Subtle movements that emphasize your words show enthusiasm. Closed-off body language can create distance, even when your words are friendly. And tone. Tone carries emotion. You can say, "I'm happy for you," in two very different ways. One flat, one warm, one forgettable, one meaningful. People don't just hear what you say. They feel how you say it. Then there's something deeper, your energy. You felt it before. Someone walks into a room and the atmosphere shifts. They haven't spoken yet, but something changes. Energy cannot be faked. If you're anxious, resentful, or trying too hard, it shows. But when you're calm, centered, and aligned with yourself, your presence becomes magnetic. Magnetic people don't dominate the room. They own their space within it. They're comfortable in their skin, and that comfort makes others relax. Your body is your silent ambassador. It speaks before you do, and lingers after you leave. Chapter 13. The Magnetic Power of Listening. Make people feel heard. Here is a truth that changes relationships, careers, and entire lives. People may forget your words, but they never forget how you made them feel. And nothing makes someone feel valued faster than being truly heard. Magnetic people are not the best talkers. They are the best listeners. In a world full of noise, distraction, and people waiting for their turn to speak, deep listening is rare, and rarity creates power. So how do you listen in a way that draws people in? First, presence. When someone speaks, be fully there. No phone. No rehearsing your response. No judging. Just attention. That alone makes people feel important. Then listen beneath the surface. What emotions are hiding behind their words? Is there frustration behind that joke? Is there exhaustion behind that complaint? Listening isn't just about content. It's about feeling. Use small responses to show engagement. "I understand. That must have been difficult. Tell me more." These simple phrases open doors. And here's a powerful tool: reflection. If someone says, "I've had a terrible day," you might respond, "Sounds like it's been exhausting for you." That reflection tells them you're not just hearing, you're understanding. But avoid one common trap: turning the conversation back to yourself too quickly. When someone shares something vulnerable, resist the urge to immediately respond with your own story. Let them stay center stage. Let them feel seen. Ask thoughtful questions. What was that like for you? How did you handle it? What happened next? Curiosity builds connection. And don't fear silence. Sometimes the most powerful moment in a conversation is a pause. Silence gives people space to go deeper. Tells them you're not rushing away. When you listen with your eyes, your posture, your energy, calm, open, non-judgmental, people open up. They trust you, not because you impressed them, but because you understood them. That is magnetic. Chapter 14. The Power of Genuine Compliments. Light up the room. One of the simplest ways to draw people toward you is to make them feel good about themselves. But here's the key: it must be real. Empty praise is obvious. And nothing creates distance faster than insincerity. Magnetic people don't hand out generic compliments. They notice specifics. Instead of saying, "You look nice," say, "You bring such positive energy into every room." Instead of, "You're smart," say, "I was impressed with how you handled that situation. You stayed calm and thought through every angle." Specific compliments feel earned. And what feels earned feels meaningful. Notice effort, not just results. Acknowledge consistency, not just success. Compliment character, patience, resilience, kindness. Many people rarely hear praise about who they are. When you recognize someone's inner qualities, you create depth. Timing matters too. Don't wait for big achievements. Compliment people in ordinary moments. Recognize the quiet ways they show up. And delivery matters. Say it with warmth. A contact. A genuine smile. Let your tone carry sincerity. Compliments don't always have to be spoken. A handwritten note. A thoughtful message. A simple acknowledgement. Small gestures can leave a lasting impression. When you consistently lift others up without expecting anything in return, something powerful happens. You become associated with appreciation. People are drawn to those who make them feel better about themselves. That's influence. That's presence. That's magnetism. Chapter 15. The Art of Storytelling. Captivate and connect. Facts inform. Stories move. Human beings are wired for stories. Long before books, before screens, before speeches, stories shaped connection. If you want to be unforgettable, learn to tell meaningful stories, but not random ones. Tell stories with purpose. Every story should carry a takeaway, a lesson, a shift. Ask yourself, why am I sharing this? What do I want them to feel? The most powerful stories are relatable. Moments of failure, moments of doubt, moments of growth. Vulnerability builds trust. When you share a challenge you faced and how you grew from it, people see your humanity. They connect. Make your stories vivid. Don't just say, I was nervous. Say, my hands were shaking. My heartbeat echoed in my ears. The spotlight felt blinding. Details create immersion. Add emotion. How did it feel? Fear? Excitement? Relief? Pride? Emotion is what people remember, and structure matters. A strong story has the beginning, the setup, a middle, the tension or challenge, an end, the resolution and lesson. Conflict keeps attention. Resolution creates meaning. And yes, humor matters too. A well-placed light moment can relax a room instantly. It shows confidence. It shows awareness. It makes you human, but never force it. Authentic humor works because it's natural. When you tell stories, you're not just sharing information. You're creating a shared experience. You're inviting others into your perspective. And shared experience builds connection. Magnetic people don't just speak to inform. They speak to connect. And when people feel connected to you, they remember you.